It is an honor to be here. Thank you so much for this. This is fantastic. Thank you. First, what I want to talk to you about is I want to kind of go back about, what is this, 2019? So 2016, we're going to go back about 3 years ago. And, 2016, it was a beautiful year. It was the best year. It was the greatest year of all time, and it was amazing. The United States presidential election of 2016. So within social media, there was a lot of dividing between social norms. So we have Twitter accounts, especially that were online, that were bots. Facebook political rallies that were actually planned by foreign adversaries. So there is evidence of that there were Facebook events that were planned by foreign countries, and real-life Americans actually attended. There was also evidence that the Russian government was breaching election data, specifically with swing states, so in terms of specifically with Florida and Georgia. And divided Americans on social issues via social media through memes or through fake news stories. How was everyone's Thanksgiving in 2016? So, yeah. So here it is. Actually, mine was actually not that bad because it's a little bit of an echo chamber with my family. But well, here is an example. It's a really interesting example I found for the New York Times from this Twitter handle called March for Trump, and this was actually with evidence found by a tweet that was created by the IRA. The IRA is the Internet Research Agency, which was basically a factory of churning out fake news stories. This March for Trump, they tweeted something. Tennessee GOP was also out of the IRA. It was not based upon the Republican Party from Tennessee. This was another foreign Twitter account. Now, fast forward over here to the 2020 presidential campaign. With the Mueller report, I don't have to kind of go through that because I'm running a little bit out of time, but the special counsel, Robert Mueller, what he did with his report is he indicted 13 Russian nationals. But because a lot of the public didn't read the report, the House of Representatives invited him to come to speak, to testify. And so he did testify on July 24th, 2019. And I don't know if anyone has ever seen this, but when he was answering questions, they were basically reading from the report, and he would just reply, yes, no, yes, no. But what was really interesting that I heard is when you're paying attention to it is that Representative Will Hurd, he's a Republican from Texas, he said he posted a question that was something that was really interesting, and he went to, when he went up, he was talking about the IRA's posing a significant threat to the 2020 election. And, well, Mr. Mueller perked up. And this is what he said. He said, one of the other areas that we have to look at are many more countries are developing capabilities to replicate what the Russians have done. It wasn't a single attempt. They're doing it as we sit here, and they expect to do it at the next campaign. As we are sitting here right now in this auditorium, there are crazy uncles that are sharing Facebook, fake news. People are liking posts, people are liking memes, and they're just throwing it out there. Well, for example, yesterday, the New York Times had an article about the spread of information of Twitter bots about the impeachment proceedings that are going on right now. This is happening as we speak. Now, with librarians, we've always had a role in terms of fake news and misinformation before it was cool, before it was a thing. And not just librarians as well, but also with IT experts, with educators, with teachers, the communication field, and other fields as well too. The ACRL, the Association of College and Research Libraries, Framework for Information Literacy of Higher Education, it's called the Framework. This is essentially basically the librarian's Magna Carta. It's kind of our Bible. We know a lot about the framework. And what the fake news and misinformation prevention does within the framework, it attacks 3 of the frames. So the first framework authority is constructed and contextual. So what does that mean? That means we put a lot of faith into our institutions, from Brookings Institution the AP, Reuters. I mean, we rely on these institutions to give us facts. Then third one, this is actually my favorite one, is the third one, is information has value. Information is now on the same scale as nuclear weapons, as money, and as natural resources such as oil. And because countries such as Russia, even us in the United States, Iran, North Korea, they're using misinformation to disrupt elections. And then the last one, the searching as strategic exploration. We have a desire to find and consume information, but we have to utilize the proper tools. Now, Pew did a really interesting study, and what they did is they took a bunch of age groups, and what they decided to do is they decided to give people headlines, the differences between something that was fact and something that was opinion. Not fact and false, but fact and opinion like an op-ed. And what they found, and it's critical for identifying fake news headlines. Let me go back. So what they found is that younger people were really great at identifying fact from opinion. Now, there was another study done with the rates of sharing of fake news study, and basically what they did is, I believe this was out of Princeton University, is that they data mined information from Facebook, and what they found is that age has a very strong effect, even no matter what side of the political spectrum you are. Users over 65 years old shared nearly 7 times as many articles for fake news than the youngest. 7 times. It's alarming. Now, what I propose is that we should focus on fake news programs and misinformation programs on the elderly. Why do you, besides that 7 times, why do you all think that we should focus on the elderly? Yes. Excellent. They vote. They vote a lot. They vote with the age groups. They vote across demographics, with whites, with African, with blacks, with Latinos, rich, poor, educated, non-educated, 65 and older. They vote, and they vote a lot. So, but the problem, there's challenges with doing programming for 65 and older. There's the digital divide. You know, some users in these groups, they don't have cell phones, they don't have internet access at home, so that's a little bit tricky. Critical thinking skills, especially the newer generation, we kind of foster, they foster critical thinking skills a lot. And then attitudes towards news consumption, it's opposed, and this is just for all age groups, it's opposed to echo chambers as well. So we used to teach something called the CRAP test. It's now called SIFT, so we're going to kind of try and experiment with that. And then what I'd like to do is I'd like to work with CURE, with the Center for Regional Excellence, to get a fake news workshop going for seniors through Senior University. So that's it. Thank you.